You need to have a second chance in life. You were thrown away, but I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna clean you and spin you and give you some nice inner sleeves and outer sleeves.
I put you on Discogs.
Can't you feel the love? I do.
I forgot the Discogs part.
Well, you know, of course they're gonna go on Discogs. You're gonna have a child not give it a social security number for Pete's sake? What kind of crappy parent are you gonna turn out to be?
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Tim here. So, as you can tell, a bunch of videos are popping up all over the place. I had the distinct honor of having a huge VC meetup. Brad, H2 Vinyl, Ron from Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary. We're both native Floridians. I'm not a native Floridian, but I am Floridian. So, you know, we live close, but we were also able to be joined by Steve at Value Vinyl on his first plane trip. He had a business trip down here in Florida, so we were able to kidnap him for a night of fun and antics, I guess would be a great word. And Red from RedcoMusic was able to join us as well. So I'm going to try to pepper in some video that I took throughout, you know, what I'm going to show, just to kind of give you some of the fun that we had. It was really a good time, and would love to spend more time with him. We only had a few hours together, but you know, a few hours is better than none. So anyway, the day started off, we kind of met up around lunchtime. It was myself, Brad, and Ron. We hit up a couple record stores before Steve was able to get free with his obligations for work. We met Steve and Red at later in the afternoon. So so everything I'm going to show is going to come from the first three. I did pick up some CDs later on throughout the day, or in the evening I should say, but another time. So because I got a stack, it's huge. So yeah, anyway, so let's get started. So we met at my office, and we hit a record store right close by to my office, and it's a newer one in Orlando. It's called Steampunk Records. It really starting to curate itself well, has a lot of new vinyl right near college campus, so they have a lot of great diversity. Saw some reissues I need to go back and pick up because they have a weird section. Thank you. But I picked up two there. So Ron actually put this one in my hands and said that if I didn't buy it, he was crazy, that I was crazy. And that's Riot, Fire Down Under. You know, great heavy metal. Definitely had to pick this one up. Haven't had a chance to really listen to any of these yet. I have cleaned them and put them in Discogs, but there's going to be a lot of listening coming up in the days to come. So this is 1981, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 81 release, original press through Columbia House. Glad to have it. Real good shape. So one of the people that really wanted to be there and had messaged me and stuff like that, was just, you know, excited that we were going to be meeting up, but really just wanted to be there was my friend Bill at the Vinyl Verse. Well, Bill, you were there, because you're gonna see a lot of things pop up that have your hand all over it. This is no exception. This is obviously Peter Gabriel. This is, if I remember correctly, his third release is commonly called Melt. Has Games Without Frontiers on it. This is a later reissue, but still clean. Glad to add this one to the collection. Definitely needed to start getting more Gabriel on vinyl. I've had it on CD for a long time. Some of it's, I think, lost through just decades of moving and stuff, but we need to focus getting him on wax. So I was glad to pick that up. So that was my haul from Steampunk. I had actually been there a little bit prior, like a week or two prior. So wasn't much surprise to me. Like I said, there's some reissues, but I didn't want to pick up. But being close to work, I feel like I didn't want to end the first stop. I didn't want to go crazy. So I'm going to cut to a little bit of video we shot at our second spot, which was Park Ave. Fellas waiting to check out after the aftermath. Bolt thrower, that's the one he was coming
I
for.
was not leaving Orlando without that.
He might have found some death. Okay, so on the way to Park Ave, we just started talking and stuff like that in the car, and really just had a great time. At Park Ave, for me, things started to heat up a little bit. They have a new arrivals section, which is great. Usually stuff that they posted on Facebook that it just got. Then the recent arrivals are alphabetical, and then things that may not be in the best condition but are still decent. Maybe not VG plus, maybe they're not heavy hitters, and then they price those at 3, 5, and 7. They usually don't show those online. They have a newer arrival 3, 5, 7 section, and then they have crates underneath all their new records. Sometimes it's just hard to get to those crates only because it is a busy store, and then there's a lot to take in. But we did dig a little bit in those, not just to kill some time, but that's how you find treasures. And then I grabbed a couple of recent arrivals, so let's get started. This was one from the 357 section. This is the debut from the Tubes. Someone was just recently talking about this. I really wish I could remember who, because I remember someone talking about the song White Punks on Dope. But I'm a fan of the Tubes, love it. This is probably a little bit more pop punk. They new wave rock, I guess, a little bit later on. Great inner scribings. I believe side 2 even says, "Don't you wish you had a baby's arm holding an apple?" If you've heard that term before, you know what I'm talking about. So I was glad to pick that one up. Like I said, $5. So had to pick that one up. Another $5 pull was the 12-inch single for Deception from Black Alicious. This is from their Nia, their album, their first full-length album. Deception was on their 8-inch EP. This looks like it has 3 parts, and I'm only familiar with the first one, which is Don't Let Money Change You. And it's funny because if you look here, it says that side 1 is part 1 and part 2, and side 2 is part 3. It's actually, all these are on one, and then the flip side is the instrumental. So glad to have that. Looking forward to seeing what's up with that. Bill at the Vinyl Verse, you were over my shoulder again. Brand X. So this is the Do They Hurt 1980 release on Passport. This is the one where Phil Collins does play drums, and I believe has a couple author credits. So saw this one for again for a $5, so I had to pick this one up. Pretty clean. Looking forward to giving this one a spin, and as well as this one, Mike and the Mechanics' first record. This was Mike Rutherford's solo effort. Well, not really a solo effort, but his Away from Genesis effort with Paul Carrick on vocals. 2 big hits for them. All I Need Is a Miracle, which is on here, and then The Living Years, which is on their second. I had this on cassette, long gone. Glad to get this one on wax. So did well with that. And then I, like I said, got 2 of their recent arrivals. They labeled this as VG, and it's almost VG plus all day. What can you say about Van de Man, right? This is a 76 reissue, so it's on the Burbank Warner Bros. Label. I don't care. I've never had this on wax. I've only had it on CD, and I play it a lot. So glad to have it on wax, and this one's going to get a proper spin with a nice drink. So that's how you do that one. So still need to get Astro Weeks on wax. I know the reissues are out there, but for some reason I just want to hold out for a nice like late 70s reissue or something. And, everybody wants millions of dollars for that album because it's so damn good. And then this one, this was the last one I picked up at Park Ave, and I have to thank Paul Baraka P-Dub. He did his best of 2019, and he showed off a lot of different stuff, and a few things caught my ear. Wrote them down, started checking them out on YouTube where I could. This one really hit me in the old earworm, and saw it at a price I just could not pass up. and that's Animal and the Sniffers. This is punk, garage rock, if you will, from Australia. Really good, really aggressive, high energy, a lot of fun. Glad to add this one to the list and to the collection. So it was great to get a recent release. And you know you're doing something good when one of the people that work there said, "Man, someone's gonna be pissed that record's gone because they played all the damn time." So you know you're doing something right when you get a comment like that. So check them out. I'm not doing needle drops in this one because I got a lot to show. Check this one out. Great stuff. So some more footage, and then we'll talk about the last place that we hit.
Look out for Marty and the train DeLorean from part 3.
Oh, true.
This is what happens when record nerds get together. We talk music while listening to music, and films waiting for a train to go by.
That's right.
So,
there it is. Especially when you get a huge Back to the Future nut.
oh, we're actually going to have a train coming by. Look, everybody.
It's a train.
Woohoo, Sunrail.
You now can see what a commuter train looks like in Florida.
For all the 10 people that are taking it.
It's about right.
All right, so the third place that Brad, Ron, and I hit was Foundation. Now, Foundation is the size of maybe a master bedroom. I wish I was kidding. It's small. They sell vintage t-shirts, and they have, I don't know, maybe like 10 bins. They had some crates on the floor. I mean, but Steve Carlson can attest. Alex from Alex Spins Vinyl, he's been there. They have heat, always do. It's one of those ones that when you walk in, you're gonna drop some cash. So this was the last stop that we did before we met up with Steve and Brad, and they had just buckets full of stuff. We're talking, I picked up a grail, 3 high most wanteds, just a bunch of heat all around. So let's get into that. So they had recently acquired a collection of, I mean, it's like stupid, like 12,000 pieces, I don't know. And these guys generally don't have a dollar section. You know, they really focus on heat. They've got like a $20 section. They've got a $15 section. They got a 10, and they had a 5, and then they had some crates on the floor. And I was like, "What's up with those? Because you usually don't have that many." He said, "Oh, those are 5. That's from this big haul that we did that we're still pulling through. Decent stuff, maybe just not in top shelf quality." I'm gonna look anyway. First one I saw was Scorpions Blackout. I mean, for a 5, it's not the Black Mercury label. It's the is that supposed to be, I don't know what, you know, the cityscape. I don't even remember where that city is, what that's supposed to be. I'm having a massive brain fart beyond. I think it's actually turned into brain diarrhea at this point. I'm so tired. But you know, the cover's not in the greatest shape. I'd say cover VG, maybe VG minus. Record looks clean, no real major issues. Looks like it's going to play just fine. And again, for a 5er, it's happening. All right, I'm done dicking with that. Next one I picked up, Kiss Asylum. I mean, Kiss for $5, it's going to happen. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to love it. I'm going to spend it. You know, Tears Are Falling is a hell of a cut. You know, so of course, I'm going to grab this one all day long. This one was the last I need for the regular albums. I saved for this band, so I have them all. The reason why I say this is because I still need a soundtrack. So this is Police, Alanis Day More. Obviously everybody knows this one. Roxanne, So Lonely, Can't Stand Losing You, Born in the 50s, Be My Girl Sally. Just a great record. Probably their most attitude. So the only one that I really need now is the soundtrack to Brimstone and Treacle. I've had that on cassette. I have the 4 CD set, which is everything they recorded, like the B-sides too. But I don't like it because it pulls them out of order. So like I wanted like the order of the album. So I have all the LPs. Now I gotta go back and find the singles that I'm missing. Only with the B-sides. So those are the only singles I want to get from the Police, and then the Brimstone and Treacle soundtrack. So another one I added to my collection, and this was probably one of the first tapes I ever had from this band. That's ZZ Top's Segueo. I mean, this is just fire. I mean, it's absolute heat. I mean, I Thank You, She Loves My Automobile, and Bad Nation Out of Full for Your Stockings, Manic Mechanic. That's just a blistering side. And then you still get your Cheap Sunglasses, Dust My Broom, Hi-Fi Mama. I mean, this is just a killer album. And like I said, they had so much more in their $5 section. I've got to go back. I'm broke. I'm fearful. I miss adding a lot of good stuff. So this is where things start to get interesting. Like quickly. So this is Procol Harum. This is an OG copy. Whiter Shade of Pale. So I know Mr. Mazzy, Norman Maslov, is a huge Procol Harum fan. As soon as I saw this, I heard him in my head scream, "Buy it, you fool!" And I did. So was glad to have it. Other than honestly this sticker right here, which says Utronics Inc. from Fairfield, Connecticut. So this record's a good journey. Covers in okay shape. A little discoloration. Vinyl looked clean, so had to pick that up. For all of my hip hop and rap friends, the godfather of the John Carlo style, Cool G Rap, probably one of the greatest MCs in the world, just flows for days. This is their debut record, Rags to the Rich, Road to the Riches, Rags to the Riches, Jesus. Road to the Riches. This is a 95 reissue. Heavier weight. It's going to have a little bit more of a punch to it. And as you can see here, it says DJ's only limited release, or limited edition. It has a few scuffs, but nothing that looks like it's going to cause any major issue. So I had to jump on that one. And I'm not done. Gentle Giant, 3 Friends. So I'm slowly starting to add to my Gentle Giant collection. I think this is my 3rd. I had Acquiring Taste Interview. Yeah, that's right. Acquiring Taste Interview. And now 3 Friends. Obviously, everybody knows the story behind this one. This was the original Gentle Giant first release cover in the UK. They repurposed it here. So, if you're trying to collect the catalog, you're going to get confused. Just deal with it. But glad to, it's like that, a show like that. Glad to add this one to the collection. Love Gentle Giant, and the hits just keep coming. But the good news is we're down to 2. I'm done, right? I can just show this. We don't need to talk, right? So this is an original press. It does say that it's, you can see it here, it says it's mono or monoroll. It's actually not. So this is a mispress. Based off of the matrix ID that I have found, Everything says that this is a mono, but it's not. It's a stereo. So I haven't had a chance to spin it yet. Cleaned it. It's got some marks. Nothing that's going to cause any major issues, but there's probably going to be a couple pops here and there. But I could not leave it there after seeing it. It just jumped into my hands and said, "Take me home, please." And I said, "Okay, I will." So glad to add the left bank to the massive stack of stuff I've still got to listen to. All right, so here it is. In the teaser, I said a grail, and this is it. You know, if there was one soundtrack that I would have walked over burning coals to get, it's this one. So if you paid attention to any of my comments, you already know what it is. But I have to show it anyway. This is my childhood. This is a top 10 movie for me. And I absolutely love this soundtrack. And now I have it. This was in my hand faster. I mean, I thought I was going to push Brad out of the way. What's funny is I almost didn't get this one. I almost splurged because he had a white label promo. Part of me is still thinking about going back to get it. That's an obsession. I love this movie. I love this soundtrack. And I am so glad that I have it in my possession now forever and evermore. This made me happy. So after all that, we decided it was time. We needed to go get the kids. So we beat feet to the hotel and picked up Red and Steve. And here's a little footage from that.
Bring it in! I'm just now getting myself together. Hi, Ron! And I see a red.
Ron, get in there and get some bro hugs.
Bro hug.
Bro hug.
The Messiah of metal.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you're telling me.
None of us are gigantic human beings.
So here is Steve at Value Vinyl.
All vinyl lives matter.
He has a conundrum.
38. Okay.
He needs to buy those.
If you think about it, $20 Steven's pretty close to what that would come up to be in final offer.
And he's trying to haggle, which is even better.
In Maine, we call it dickering. It's a fine art in Maine. We don't pay full price or anything without just.
I have no words. I have to pay.
The great thing about this medium that we have is that we do interact and we get to hear each other, see a little piece of our lives, share comments over shared experiences with music or shared loves through music. Some of us are even friends on Facebook, and that's wonderful. It makes those VC meetups that much more special because we have grown and become friends, not just people that are, hey, I like that record you have, and vice versa. You know, we check in on each other. We make sure that they're doing okay. We send love, not just through VCLT, but literally we just say, hey, thinking about you. Haven't talked to you in a few days. Haven't seen you post a video in a couple weeks. Making sure you're doing okay. And that's the wonderful thing. So I hope everybody had a great time watching this. Yeah, some of it's not really for kids, and we apologize. But you got five music nerds in a room who are all pretty crazy. So, and that's fun. So I'm going to sign off. I'm going to leave you with a little bit more video here so you can just share in the love and the fun that we had that day. So sadly, it all has to come to an end, but it's things like this medium, the videos that we took, the photos we took, and the sharing that make us realize that we'll be able to remember it forever. Take care, everybody. Love you all. Peace.
No, you have to do it like at the SCTV. Whoa! Whoa!
We're calling it a night. It was a great night. That was fun.
Oh yeah, the Goodwill alone. The Goodwill alone. He killed.
Yeah, you did a great job at the Goodwill.
Yep. Yeah, I found some good stuff.
And it's 59 cents.
And as usual,
69 cents. It would have been better.
and as usual, Brad beat his budget at the first store.
Yep. That's right.
I did.
No, the first store was closed, and the second store was... Oh, you're talking about before you met up?
Yeah. See, we've been at this a little while.
3 stores on the way.
Yeah.
So. But we already said that one of us was going to blow their wad first. And
All right, who got poked first?
Red got
You
pumped
gotta,
first?
gotta put it right there.
no, your turn. Your turn, John.
So we have appropriately put Steve in the back with a child lock.
Thank you. I'm telling my mommy.
Bye, buddy.
Bye. Thank you. Hey, little boy. Be rad. Yep. Oh, you're coming upstairs with me. Come on.